Good morning, Year 6, and welcome to Thursday's literacy lesson. As usual, we're going to be starting with the spelling activity, and I've been really impressed with how well you've been engaging with these activities at home, and a particular shout out to Lily. Okay, so let's have a look at what we're going to do today then. So you'll need your purple book, you'll need something to write with. We've got the date, we've got the learning question. Can I spot the errors in shall words? Notice I've got both of the different types of shall suffix endings that we have come across in the last couple of weeks. So I'm testing a little bit of memory too. So what you're going to do is find a nice clean page, you'll put the date, the learning question, and you will notice I've got some pairs of words here. You're going to write those down and then you're going to circle the correct spelling for me. Let's see how you get on. Pause the video, have a go. Okay, Year 6, how did you do? Let's see then, shall we? Okay, so we've got official, commercial, influential, substantial, glacial, and crucial. So here you should have spotted official follows if it's got a vowel, add CIAL. Commercial, threw you a bit of a curveball here today. So it should follow the TIAL because it's got a consonant there, but it doesn't. It's one of those exemptions. Okay. So, a bit naughty of me, never mind. I'm sure you've spotted it. And then we've got influential, and it's one of your spellings this week, so you should have spotted that. And substantial, should have spotted that one. And over here from last week, glacial, so should have spotted it's the CIAL, it follows the rule. And so does crucial. It has a CIAL spelling of the suffix. Well done if you got all of those correct. So let's have a little look then at our next activity. I have been blown away by handwriting. Made a real big difference, the activities that you are doing. And I'm seeing you really trying incredibly hard with your joins. So excellent. And a big shout out to Lexi. I've seen a huge improvement in the consistency, the formation of your letters. So I did say we were going to go to back to the beginning of the alphabet and work our way through and see how we join different letters of the alphabet to other letters. So we had a little look at A. Now we're going to have a little look at B. We're also going to be practicing the R joining at the top, the K, and our pointy W. So let's have a look at how we do it. Okay, so we'll lead up into the B, nice and tall B, into the R, which joins at the top. Watch the K, and then we have got EN at the end. And try and make sure that your lowercase letters are all consistently the same size. Then I've got beaches lead into the tall B, E, A, C, H, E, and then it's got the S's. Very often we've had a few problems with this size of our S getting a little bit bigger than the other letters. So I'm looking out for that in your work today. Then banana. It's going to test our A's and our N's as well as our B. So nice and tall for the B, A, N, A, N, A. Then we've got borrow. We're looking at those R's joining at the top and the pointy W. So we'll tall B into the O, R, into the O, into the W. And then finally we've got blink. So leading into the B, L, I, N, K. Looking out for that cursive K that we have been practicing. So underneath your spelling activity, you are going to leave a line. You're going to put, can I practice my handwriting? And here you go. You have got 2 lines of broken, 2 lines of beaches, 2 lines of banana, 2 lines of borrow, 2 lines of blink. Okay, have fun. Pause the video, off you go. Okay, Year 6, let's have a little look at what we're going to be doing next then. So we have got a reading activity today, and we're going to be looking at our brand new book. It's got the owl on the front. Okay, it's book 5, and then it says book 2 in the bottom, the little orange little circle. So have a little look, find your book, make sure you've got it. We're on page 4. So I'm going to get it up on the visualizer, but if you've got it in front of you, it's a bit easier to read. So let's have a little look then at what we're going to be doing. So it says, what changes have the school made, yes, to keep him and the rest of the pupils safe? Find them in the text and underline them. So if we have a look at the page, we have got a story about the unluckiest boy in the world. We've got an extract. And we've got, it's about Nicholas. Okay, he becomes cursed after disturbing an old grave, and terrible things happen to him, and also people in his who are around him. So what I want you to do is have a little look through, and can you find what have the school done to keep Nicholas and the rest of his classmates safe? Have a little look through the text. You'll need to pause the video. You'll need to make sure you've got your pencil, underline anything you can find. Okay, pause the video, off you go. Okay, let's see how you got on then. How well did you do? Let's see. So we have got a story about the unluckiest boy in the world. So it says, after that day with Miss Murray, things did seem to get better, and the number of accidents happening around Nicholas was reduced dramatically. Mr. Fender had panic buttons installed in all the classrooms. So you should have underlined that, panic buttons in the classrooms. And these were connected to the school office. So you might have continued that and gone on to the school office. Okay. He sent 4 of his staff on training courses in first aid. So that's another thing that you should have underlined. 4 of the staff were sent on training courses in first aid. And he altered the timetable, as Miss Murray had suggested, so that Nicholas only had lessons with the more relaxed and easygoing members of staff. So he altered the timetable. So far, we've got panic buttons installed, 4 staff sent on first aid training, and the timetable had been altered. Okay, so that he was with more relaxed and easygoing members of staff. Mr. Damon was still away after the mountain lion incident, which sounds interesting. And Nicholas did science with Mrs. McIntyre, a large middle-aged woman who never seemed to get upset about anything. His French teacher was replaced by the elderly Mr. Dobson, and Mr. Fender himself took over the lessons in RE. Some children were moved out of his class, so that's another thing that they've done. Okay. 2 of the noisier, more excitable girls were replaced, for instance, by boys from another form whose hobby was collecting wildflowers. And the effect of these changes was soon apparent. Miss Murray had said that the energy of the curse depended on the emotions of the people around Nicholas, and when the people around him were, by and large, calm and relaxed, the energy for real disaster was no longer there. So they've moved some of the children out of the class. They've replaced them with calmer, less excitable children, less noisy children. Okay. So the incidents that you should have had were panic buttons, 4 staff sent on first aid, timetable was altered so that he had calm, easygoing teachers, and children were removed who were excitable and noisy. Hopefully you got all of those. So we've got some questions that we're going to be looking at connected to this. So we're going to carry on. We're going to now have a little look at the text and see if there's any words or things that we don't understand, and just have a little look in more detail at the text. So At the start, it says, after that day with Miss Murray, things did seem to get better, and the number of accidents happening around Nicholas was reduced dramatically. So there was less incidents, reduced dramatically, less incidents. So we've talked about the panic buttons were installed and connected to the school office. 4 of the staff were sent on training courses, and he altered, so he changed, in other words, the timetable, as Miss Murray had suggested. So Nicholas only had lessons with the more relaxed and easygoing. So the calmer, easygoing, calmer members of staff. Mr. Damon was still away after the mountain lion incident, and Nicholas did science with Miss McIntyre, a large middle-aged woman who never seemed to get upset about anything. His French teacher was replaced, so again, changed, replaced, altered, changed by the elderly Mr. Dobson, and Mr. Fender himself took over the lessons in RE. So some children were moved out of the class. 2 of the noisier, more excitable girls were replaced, so again, changed, for instance, by boys from another form whose hobby was collecting wildflowers. And the effect of these changes was soon apparent. Apparent meaning clear, obvious. You could see what was happening. Miss Murray had said that the energy of the curse depended on the emotions of the people around Nicholas, and when the people around him were by and large calm and relaxed, the energy for real disaster was no longer there. Okay, so some accidents still happened. So it wasn't all, it wasn't all sorted. There were still some accidents. There was an incident with a tarantula in a geography lesson that sparked a certain amount of hasty movement. Sparked, created, okay, a certain amount of hasty movement. So, in other words, sparked a certain amount of hasty movement. People were getting out of the way. They were running out of the way. And the number of light bulbs that failed or computers that crashed when Nicholas was around could still reach highly inconvenient levels. So, if you're trying to do some work and you're trying to copy from the board and the light bulbs go out and it goes dark and you can't see what you're meant to be doing, or you're in the middle of a PowerPoint or some game of Ed Shed or TT Rockstars, you will be quite annoyed if your computer, your iPad or your computer, your laptop crashed. So that's what it means by highly inconvenient. All right, they happened at not convenient moments, moments when they really you needed to be using them. But when they did, he knew what to do. As soon as the accident rate threatened to get out of control or to produce an atmosphere of fear and distrust, so distrust meaning you don't feel confident, you don't feel safe, that the curse would feed on, Nicholas would quietly leave the class and head for the safe room. Nicholas noticed the difference as soon as he stepped through the door. That sense he had carried for the last 18 months of malevolent, so, really wicked, nasty, evil forces swirling around him. So, sort of moving around him, circling him, waiting to pounce, waiting to jump on him, disappeared in an instant. It was as if they could no longer see him. He was hidden from their view, and while he was hidden, both he and the people around him were safe. So a really, really interesting story. One of these, reading this, I thought, I must have a little look at that. It looks like it's a fun story. So your questions then today. So what do you think might have happened at Nicholas's school before the extract? So if you have a little look, you can see some of the things that have happened. So sort of summarise those. So you might sort of say, there's been lots of accidents in the school, teachers have been hurt, and pupils, wherever Nicholas has been. So you might want to sort of just talk briefly about that. It's a 1 marker. So there's been lots of accidents and incidents of an unfortunate nature wherever Nicholas is. Okay. So what does the phrase by and large, line 14, mean? So if we have a little look, line 14, okay, I'll just zoom in a little bit. Okay, so it says, when the people around him, Miss Murray had said that the energy of the curse depended on the emotions of the people around Nicholas, And when the people around him were, by and large, calm and relaxed. Okay, so by and large, what does that mean? The energy for real disaster was no longer there. So it's got something to do with people being calm and relaxed around Nicholas. So by and large, what does that phrase mean? Okay, look at it in context, have a go. So then it says, fill the gap in the sentence below. This extract is written in the what person. So does it use I? Does it use you? Does it use he, she? Okay, so have a little think, what person? But a question about this not so long ago. And you had to change the person, remember, from second person to first person. So have a little look. What does the word malevolent in line 24 mean? Remember, we talked about that when we were going through the text. So you might want to rewind. You might want to have a little look back at the video. Okay, and have a little look at line 24. Read it in context. I'll have a little look again, turn over. So line 24. Nicholas noticed the difference as soon as he stepped through the door. That sense he had carried for the last 18 months of malevolent forces swirling around him, waiting to pounce. Okay, what does malevolent sound like? Do they sound like they're nice forces? Have a little look. Okay, then we've got the school has made several changes, and you looked at that as your starter activity. Because of the curse, do you think they've done enough to keep pupils and staff safe? And this is where you're explaining your answer. Now here, you might want to think about, have the incidents gone down? Are pupils feeling safe? Are there lots of things in place? So you might sort of say yes, because that this has happened, or you might say no, because there's still incidents with light bulbs and computers. So this is your opinion on this. There's no right or wrong answer here. So remember, you need to refer back to the text. Tell me something in the text that backs up your argument. So you might say, yes, the school has done enough because it says in the text, this shows, okay, or no, the school has not done enough because it says in the text, this shows. So you need to use those phrases, and you need to be giving me a little bit of detail in that. Okay. Right. Next thing it says, how do you think Nicholas might feel about the effect the curse has on people around him? Explain your answer. So again, this is you thinking about your opinion. If you have a little look, there was a little section here that says, as soon as the accident rate threatened to go out of control, you might want to look at that little section from there to the end of that paragraph, the safe room, to focus your answer. Okay, so have a little look at that part, and that might give you a really good idea. And then finally, having read this extract, do you agree that Nicholas is the unluckiest boy in the world? And again, it's an explain your answer. Do you think he's the unluckiest boy in the world? Why is it? Again, because it says in the text, this shows. You need to explain yourself. All right, so have a good look at those. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you get up to. And I'm going to have a little look for this book because I think it looks rather exciting. Okay, so let's have a little look then at your challenge. So you'll answer those questions. I'm going to go on to the next page. So once you've answered the questions, you've got a challenge to do in your purple book. So underneath where you did your starter activity, you're going to have a little look, and your spelling and your handwriting, you're going to have a look at the challenge. So it says in the text that Mr. Damon is still away after the mountain lion incident. So I want you to write a little paragraph explaining what the mountain lion incident was. We're not told what it is, but I'm really interested to see what you think happened. Were they on a school trip? Were they at the zoo? Okay, so what happened to Mr. Damon and how was Nicholas involved? So why were they near a mountain lion? What happened to Mr. Damon? How severe were his injuries? Okay, why is he off? Okay, so you're going to do the questions on page 5 and then have a go at your challenge. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you get up to. Have a lovely Thursday and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye everybody. Bye bye.